Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing pretty good myself. And if you didn't read the title, the topic of today's video is attention spans and how bad they are lately. So I thought about this when I immediately reached for my phone when one of my YouTube videos was downloading. I was downloading the video so I could upload it, and of course it doesn't happen instantly. It takes a couple minutes. But the first thing I did, literally like right after it started downloading, I reached for my phone. And then I realized what I did and I put my phone down. And then I just thought like, wow, that's actually really bad. But I guess the good thing is that I realized right away, and then I didn't use it at all while the video downloaded. But that made me realize how bad mine is, and how bad people's are in general. And if you're already looking at the recommended videos on the side, you're proving my point. And I don't want to seem like a dick, I catch myself doing that too. And according to analytics on YouTube, most of you won't make it past the intro, or whatever you want to call this. I guess this could be considered the intro, but you get the idea. Most of you won't make it far into the video. But yeah, I was just thinking about how most people's attention spans, again, including myself, are really bad lately. We always hear about how bad attention spans are, but it's actually true. And I witnessed it firsthand with that experience I just said. But what actually is attention span? What does that mean? I don't want to keep saying it without actually saying what it means, or at least how I use it, so that way there's no confusion. Your attention span is the amount of time you can concentrate or focus on something, without getting bored or zoning out. Or not really getting bored, but just, like I said, being able to focus or concentrate. And the reason it's so bad for most people, at least that I see who are younger, is because of the constant stimulation that we have now. We always have something to do or something to look at, and the majority of that comes from phones. But it's not just phones, it's that we use phones or we're looking at things while we're doing other things, if that makes sense. Try doing something without having your phone next to you and without constantly checking it. It's actually not as easy as it sounds. You'll lose your concentration for a second and then think that you should be doing something else. Like you'll get the feeling that you should have something to look at, but then you remember it's your phone that you're thinking about and you're supposed to be doing something else. That's actually happened to me a few times when I've tried to put my phone down for a while I do something. And even gaming too. I like to watch YouTube videos while gaming. I don't know how common that is or if that's just something that I do, but I feel like that is definitely shrinking my attention span, contributing to that constant stimulation. Not for all games, but if I'm playing like Call of Duty or something, I'll have a YouTube video on, and I'll even catch myself checking my phone between deaths. And your brain gets used to always looking at something new or multitasking, and that makes your attention span shorter, and it makes you less capable of focusing on one thing for a long period of time. And another thing that makes people's attention spans worse nowadays, and this kind of goes back to what I said earlier about the phones, is the algorithms. You log on to your phone and you get on some app, whether it be TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it may be, and you get shown a bunch of content specifically chosen for you based on these algorithms. And not only that, but mainly the thing is the short form nature of them. Videos on TikTok could be 10 seconds long, and then you get shown another one right after that, or maybe you look at the comments. And like I said, your brain gets used to that. It gets used to constantly looking at something new from scrolling on apps like this. Over time, you expect to get constant entertainment, and that makes it not as easy to sit down with one thing for a long period of time. Or not even that long, even 10 minutes seems like a long time when you get used to always scrolling and getting something new to look at every 10 seconds. Another thing about phones that I think makes us less able to concentrate for long periods of time is that they're always there. Whenever you get bored, you can just go on your phone. There's never really any downtime with your phone around. you can always pick up your phone and scroll or do whatever. And I feel like that makes it a lot harder to focus for a long time on something, because we're always used to having something to look at when we get bored. And by the way, according to the analytics, the vast majority of you aren't watching anymore. So if you are, well, thanks for sticking around, and nice job staying focused and not clicking off. But yeah, our brains are so used to having constant stimulation, and that can affect our daily lives and how we do things. For one thing, schoolwork becomes much more difficult to do when you can't focus on things. Although, like I said in my last video, most kids just use AI to do it anyway. And even really basic things like talking and holding a conversation become difficult when you're used to constantly having something new to do. We're used to having something new in our face all the time, that actually talking to someone for a while feels boring in comparison. Even gaming, I mentioned this earlier, how I check my phone and watch YouTube while gaming. But yeah, having a short attention span makes even something like gaming get boring after a while because it's not as stimulating as scrolling. So to get your attention span and your focus back, I think the best thing to do is to just be intentional with what you're doing. Try to not use your phone while you do something else. Try reading a book for a little bit. Try playing a game with nothing else open. It's not as easy as it sounds, but eventually it will help to get your attention span back. But yeah, that's the end of the video. If you made it to the end, you beat the attention span allegations. But seriously, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, a like or subscribe would be appreciated. And do you feel like yours is fried, or is that just me? Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.